Hello and welcome to the official Xbox 360 magazine podcast. I'm John Hicks, I'm the editor, and I'm here on this special podcast, both with newly promoted deputy editor Mike Channel.
Hello.
and our lovely audience is Bethesda's Pete Hines.
Hello.
So, and we're here today to talk about Skyrim, the new, much anticipated Elder Scrolls game. As Pete is, you rejoice in the title. I think he's vice president of PR and marketing,
something like that.
Something like that, you know, front man for Bethesda. And I guess I was just thinking maybe my question for you is, the anticipation for this game has been massive. I mean, we've been asked about it for years. People have been, when's the next Elder Scrolls? When's it coming? What's happening? Is it going to be like the biggest game Bethesda's ever put out in terms of well, not necessarily like game size, but in terms of, you know, scope and scale and sales and stuff?
For the most part, yes. It's I have to qualify that a little bit with Rage also coming out this year. So Bethesda Softworks as a publisher, sort of the two biggest things we've ever done will be Rage in September, Skyrim in November. But Bethesda Game Studios as a developer, absolutely the biggest thing we've ever done in terms of size of game, anticipation, you know, all of that. As you said, we've been hearing all of the same questions you have about when is it coming and when are you going to be talking about it. So it's been great to finally get out there and let people know what we're up to be able to put a name to it. You know, I'd be sitting there playing it, wow, I'm having a lot of fun playing something today. So it's great to say, yes, it's Skyrim and it's fun. So I certainly think it will be in those respects, and something we're very much looking forward to this year.
And is it because the fan base for the franchise is massive, and also because Oblivion was so massive? I mean, we get these letters and emails and things from people saying that I played nothing else for 6 months. You know, people seem to spend more time playing Elder Scrolls games than anything else. And does that mean it's got like the most intimidating fan base to deal with, or the most detail obsessed?
Yeah, I mean, you know, certainly you're talking about amongst the hardest of the hardcore fans, Elder Scrolls fans, their knowledge is vast and frightening. You know, they know everything about everything, and having invested so many days, weeks, months of their lives into these games and still playing them regularly, they know an awful lot, and they have certainly very high expectations, and I think that's great. I mean, more than anything, that is what drives us to make great games and great stuff, knowing, you know, having that fervent following that is so passionate about what we're doing is nothing but a positive. And, you know, obviously we share that same passion for what we're doing. This is, you know, over a decade now for me of working on the Elder Scrolls, and something that, you know, is very near and dear to my heart. So I think we take that job very seriously to make sure we deliver on what those folks expect from us.
It must be a tough sort of balancing act, because obviously you've got quite a hardcore, very in-depth RPG. You know, one of the most in-depth single-player RPGs around. But also, I think in general in the games industry, there's a drive towards accessibility and not, like, you know, frightening people with terrifyingly complex menus and stuff. Is that a tough balance to strike?
Yes and no. I mean, you know, it's one of the things that, you know, I think Todd has always been a big proponent of, and everybody on his team, is not just playing, you know, all the other role-playing games out there, but playing all the other games out there. You know, whether it's you never know where your inspiration is going to come from. It could be from a soccer manager, a driving game, an action game, how they do something with their UI, how they do something with their, you know, their menu system, their inventory. You get ideas from all over, and certainly as players of every kind of game, we you know, notice the same kinds of things that are annoying, and notice the same kinds of things that are really cool or convenient or great ideas, and try and encompass all of that into what it is that we do. And, you know, with a game as massive as ours, I've talked a lot before about, you know, people have to feel safe in order to go out and explore that world. And so if they feel like they're easily going to get lost, or not know where to go next, or not know what to do next, they don't feel as free to go and explore the world. And so I think what the folks at Bethesda Game Studios have become really, really good at is providing that security through good interface, good conveying of information, so that you feel like I'm just going to wander off wherever, and if I get lost or if I blow 5 hours just doing nothing, I know I can sort of find my way back to the main quest or to whatever it was I was doing before.
Sure.
And is it the case that because you're known for these games and they're known for being so massive, is it kind of becoming harder to kind of meet people's expectations for what the next Elder Scrolls game should be like?
I hope not. I mean, we have lofty expectations and goals for ourselves. I think we try pretty hard to push ourselves in terms of what kind of experience we're looking to deliver, and I think we tend to be our harshest critics in terms of once we finish a game, we almost instantly start picking it apart and what didn't we like, what would we do different the next time, so I think moving that stuff forward for us is key to what it is we do. I think the one thing that we have always done is we've always said we're going to start all over again. That we're not just going to iterate. This is not just going to be an iteration of the last one. Well, it's basically the same. We changed these few things. Here's a new story. Go play it again. And that, explains the length between them, because we really do go through and say, we're going to start all over again. We're going to throw out some systems. We're going to take some systems and completely revamp them and do them differently. There may be some things we tweak, but everything gets sort of re-examined from the base level, and I think that does allow us some freedom to say, well, we're not just trying to iterate on Oblivion. We could do anything, and we can, because we're the guys who made it. Well, what would we do? What would we do with AI or storytelling or pathfinding or quest, or whatever it might be? So I think thinking big and trying big things is what got us to where we are. And if we don't keep doing those things, I think people will lose interest.
So you'd never commit to like a schedule of Elder Scrolls games, like we're going to do one every 3 years or something like that. It's just going to be it's done when it's done.
Yes and no. I mean, I guess within the time that we're given, that it's not that we've had the fortune of nobody standing over our shoulder saying, okay, you got 11 months, you're going to serialize this like sports game A. That I think. And I guess I'm part of senior management, but our senior management, the people that that count the dollars and so forth, have been very understanding that this is what made this series great. This is what makes this studio great, and you can't just take that and force it into a 14-month development schedule and expect to get the same thing. So it is much more of a development-driven focus as opposed to being a slave to a schedule. And look, we need a product for quarter X, and it's going to be yours. Too bad. I think we've avoided that approach, and that has served us very well.
You've got a wicked release date, though, 11th to the 11th, 11. You don't want to miss that, right?
No.
Yeah, that was the first thing that was decided.
Yeah. Well, and the thing that I like about it the most is we always have that thing where you guys over here do the day and the month back opposite of us in the release date, and so you get a perfectly good release date, like 9, 10, 11, and then all of a sudden you come to the UK, oh no, it's 10, 9, 11, like, oh crap. So the only way to get around that is to have them all be the same, and then it's the same for everybody. So yeah, Todd, that was actually, I think Todd was really the champion of that date for a long time. I think I jumped on board pretty early, but I think all the credit probably goes to him. He was the one who was really crazy about, no, we got to do it on 11, 11, 11. It's too cool to pass up. We got to do it. So
you've bagged it quite early, actually, because I don't know that there are any other games that have said they're coming out on that day as well. So
not that I know of. I wouldn't be surprised if somebody else did. But I don't remember the last time. I mean, we've certainly never announced the game and given the release date at the same time. And certainly from Todd, it's impossible to get release dates to him. You walk into his office and it's 3 weeks, but I'll let you know. We may hit it, we may not. So to get him to commit to it, he's in a happy place with where the development is, and he really wants to hit that date. So we're going to hit it.
I was very impressed by how well polished everything looked when I saw the game. I mean, it was interesting because brilliant as Fallout New Vegas was, I think there was, to a degree, people were thinking the engine was looking a bit tired. Now, obviously, you guys have got a massive technical overhaul for Skyrim. How important was it that the next Elder Scrolls game had that leap forward in technology as well?
I think it's very important. I mean, it's something that we pegged way back in 2006. I think it's something that Todd has always preached to, that when you boil a game down, somebody flips through a magazine like OXM, for example, with Skyrim on the cover,
as we hope many will,
available in newsstands now. But when somebody opens it, you may or may not get them to read it. They may not read page 5 of Mike's 16-page coverage on Skyrim, which page 5 is awesome, by the way, so don't skip it. But they will look at a screenshot and make a snap decision of that looks awesome or I'm not interested. And so if you can make something look amazing just at first glance, it's so much easier to get them. And it kind of relates to something that we took a lot of junk from certain fans on Fallout 3, where people are like, well, they're not focusing on the RPG stuff. Like all their demos are more about action and not about quests. Well, we tend to show what shows well. It's very difficult to convey to somebody in a period of time, here's a character that you didn't create, but somehow I'm going to get you to care about this quest and the context of it right now. But everybody gets pretty pictures, and everybody gets the base big story stuff, and so I think graphics, in a similar way, sort of gets a lot of people interested right away. They see something and they go, holy crap, that looks amazing, and now I want to learn more about it, as opposed to seeing something that, yeah, that looks okay, and it looks like it could be any other game. We don't want to be that. When you see our stuff, we want you to go, that's Skyrim for sure. That can't be anything else. That looks unbelievable. I know what that is. So
it's great. It must be great because, as we've said, people are still playing Oblivion now. So that kind of people are revisiting a game that is, 5 years old now, right? So they're playing through with a game that is technologically limited. It's going to be great for them then to be able to stretch their legs in this beautiful environment.
Absolutely. And there's a lot of people who say, well, graphics don't matter. To them, I usually say you're lying, because it does lend itself to a sense of immersion. It may not matter much, and I will agree with them on that. Maybe to them other things do matter, but it definitely matters. It's just a question of how much. But it certainly helps with that sense of immersion and losing yourself in this world where you just feel like this is real, like that looks real. And certainly we're looking for the best sense of immersion you can get in an epic fantasy.
I was thinking, because people spend so much time playing these games, was that a kind of scheduling decision, like another reason to put it out in November? Because if people are going to buy Skyrim, they're going to be playing Skyrim for 2-3 months. You don't. Should we safely assume that Bethesda won't be releasing any other games for a good while after that, just because everyone will be busy?
I wish I could say that we have figured it out to that exact science, but unfortunately, game software doesn't work quite that well. So it was more it'll be ready here, so that's when we're going to release it, and it just so happened to be November was the right time.
Yeah, and that's normally the kind of the snappy date in November is the Call of Duty release date. I'm going to be interested to see, as Mike says, you announced it really early. You got in there. I do wonder whether there are people at Activision cursing because you got the snappy date first.
I think it wouldn't affect them at all, even though there's a flag stuck in it at the moment. I think Activision would probably think they can pile in and take it anyway.
Yeah, I would imagine they do as well. I mean, I don't know if you could ever worry if you owned Call of Duty and you just shipped whatever ludicrous number of copies of Black Ops they shipped. I don't know if worry is the word that I would use with what they're doing.
They're crying into their pillows that are stuffed with $100 bills.
Yeah, I tend to think they're probably going to do just fine whatever date they come out.
True.
And I imagine it'll probably be sometime in early November. And maybe it's the same week and maybe it's not. But, there's a lot of people in this world who play games, and I think there's plenty of room for everybody. And our expectation is we're going to take care of what we're doing and what we're working on, and everybody else will do the same with theirs.
Yeah, well, I think you can be fairly confident that Skyrim fans are going to be a different sort of person to Call of Duty fans.
Do you feel that Elder Scrolls has become intrinsically linked to the Xbox 360? I mean, obviously Morrowind came out on the original Xbox, was pretty popular, and Oblivion was one of the sort of early titles for the 360 and really defined the sense of scale that people could expect from console games. Now, do you think that's sort of carried over to Skyrim as well?
I think in some respect it certainly has. I mean, we've done a lot of things that were sort of firsts on Xbox. We were the first ones to ever release a full expansion pack on Xbox back when we did it for Morrowind. all the DLC stuff we did on Xbox 360. We were sort of the the guinea pigs for that, and introducing people to the idea of paying content, which went